Hello and welcome to the Archangel tutorial series. In this episode, we'll be discussing how to bind your Archangel to a FrSky Taranis X9D-Plus. The Archangel is available in bind and fly models for both FrSky and Spectrum. For FrSky models, continue watching. For Spectrum, we have a video on that as well. First thing, because we will be attaching a battery and connecting this to the computer, remove all of your props to be safe. Next, you'll remove the two front bottom screws so we can have access to all of the electronics on the inside. And we'll pop the hood. Next, we will find the receiver and its bind button, which is located in that corner on this receiver. Next, we will turn on the Taranis and we'll have to create the model in the Taranis. We have a couple of warnings that I'm just skipping past. First thing we'll do is hit menu, and we're looking for an open model. I'm going to select 3 this time. Press and hold enter and we will create the model. Now, you will press page 1 time. You can name the model here, and I would suggest it, but we are going to scroll down until we find this area, starting with mode, channel range, and receiver number. You need to make sure the mode is D16. You need to make sure the channel range is 1 through 16. And for fail-safe mode, definitely make sure this is set to no pulses. That means if you lose connection, your drone won't continue to fly away. The next thing we need to do is select bind and press enter. We'll hear the Taranis chirp, meaning that it's in bind mode. Next, we need to press and hold the bind button on the receiver and then plug the battery in. It can be hard to do with 2 hands, but not too bad. All right, now if you've done this properly, you can press exit on the Taranis, and that will take it out of bind mode, and then we can power off the drone. We need to configure the receiver on Betaflight, so the next thing I'm going to do is plug the drone in to the USB port. We'll plug power into the drone, and then on the computer, we'll click connect in Betaflight. So now, our drone is bound, we've created the model, and we need to make some changes in Betaflight. What we are going to do is set the channel mapping. Sometimes the channels won't be mapped correctly, and whenever you go to receiver, you'll see the preview of your drone just spinning like crazy down there. And if we give it throttle, we see roll moving, and if we give it roll, we see pitch moving. So, under the channel map over here, for our Taranis, we can select Spectrum Gropner JR. That will change the channel map to TAER. Click Save. Now, throttle controls throttle, yaw controls yaw, pitch controls pitch, and roll controls roll. All right, so now that our channels are mapped out correctly, we have a couple of things left. We will create 2 channels in our Taranis, one for arming and one for the mode selection. So let's do that now. We'll hit menu and then page until we get to the mixer section. And in the mixer section, we will arrow down till we get to channel 5. For the name, I will call this ARM. And for the source, select source, press enter 1 time, and when you flip the switch, it will select that source name as your source. Press enter, and that's selected. All right, press exit 2 times. That'll take us back to the mixer screen. Move down to channel 6, press enter. We will name this mode. This will let us switch among our different flight modes. M-O-D-E. Again, under source, hit enter, and we'll flip the switch to change our source name. Enter one more time, escape out of these menus. Now, in Betaflight, we will go to the Modes tab. All right, we'll select aux1 for arm, and then move it into the range where we would like it armed. If you flip the switch, you can see the switch position moving here from high to medium to low. Currently in the low position, that's when it would arm. And for mode is a funny one because if we flip mode to the top position, it's currently not in the range for any mode. That means that it's an acro mode. Now, for horizon mode, that will be the middle position. We flip this to the middle part, you see horizon lights up on aux2 in that range. And if we flip it to the low position, angle is lit up for that range. Now that that's all selected, we'll hit save in the bottom right and disconnect. Now that it's disconnected, we will disconnect the drone from the computer. And when I arm the drone, the motors spin. Isn't that great? Now for the motors to spin, like I said, the throttle does have to be in the minimum position. So if you arm the drone, and there it goes. All right. So there we went over how to bind the drone, how to create the model, how to create 2 switches for arm and your modes, and then we walked you through the configuration in Betaflight as well. And that concludes this episode of the Archangel tutorial series.